it's sorted out. All right, so what in the world is a student project, Majo? I ponder. Tell me all the things. What is a student project?
Okay, so I dig a lot this feature because this is a feature where we make our students content creators and not only consumers of our video lessons. So I love it because if they need to create it, that tells you that it had to have like investigation or like knowledge before they created the video. So student project, my favorite feature, but Stormy and Wilian are gonna show us like how the magic works with student projects.
Yes, ma'am.
So let us know, let us see the beauty of student project.
So I was talking to another team member of mine about student projects, and she gave me some examples. So luckily enough, we're like, oh, we have an event. We're gonna use her stuff. So you should be familiar with Edpuzzle already, okay? Student projects is not where you're going to start. So you need to be familiar with how to create video lessons because you need to make your students be familiar with the structure of a video lesson, and then you allow your students to create that video lesson for you. And then you can turn around and assign it to your students. There is no more this come to the front of the class and then take the entire period.
And nobody's listening.
We're not in the 90s, okay? We have like, especially in secondary, we have way too many students for them to come to the front, stumble, whatever, like, no. Record themselves, or you can use a YouTube video and then they create the lesson for you and then you can use it from your own students. Alrighty, it's going to be quite interesting because student projects were meant to be private. You can only share them with your classroom, the kids that are in your classroom. So for us to be sharing student projects with you or for you to share student projects with us, it's going to be an adventure. So we're going to walk you through how we're going to do it. Just know this was not the purpose for teachers to be sharing student projects the same way that you share video lessons, because you can share a video lesson with just a link and you click a button and automatically you make a copy of the whole thing. That was the purpose, to make it easy for teachers to share video lessons, but not student projects. So I'm going to share my screen and all of the things are going to be shared with you. So don't worry about it.
Drum roll.
Here are just, what was that?
I said drum roll.
Oh, yeah. All right, so here are some of the ways that you can use student projects, okay? So sometimes you'd be like, okay, I love the idea, Manny, but how? How do we start? So that is the whole point of this session. We're gonna give you some examples, we're gonna walk you through some of the things, and then we're gonna make one together. Okay, this is like the second time that we say this. You're gonna be making one with us. That's the whole point of a make and take. Alrighty, so think of a way that you can have your students do like this tech talk, like present about what they're learning. So instead of, again, being in front of the classroom, have them record themselves, just like teachers, just like anyone, like they're gonna make mistakes and then they're gonna do it again and they're gonna do it again and then they're gonna do it again. So they're practicing. So like a book review or a tour of the classroom or a tour of whatever it is, think of ways that they can demonstrate to you that they understood the concept that they just watched or that they just did in the unit or the week or however it is. So here are the screens. You can read it on your own, but these are just examples into how you can utilize a student project in your classroom. We're all looking at the chat to be like, ooh, and kind of questions that you have for us.
Jesse, no, you're not supposed to see a black screen. Manny is presenting one pager with examples of ways to use a student project.
Yeah, it's just like different ways to use student projects, But then Wilian is going to show you examples that he has used in his classroom, or that he has. They're in Portuguese, but he's going to explain it to you because we are a global community. Okay? Okay. Where is my stop sharing? There you go. I never taught during the pandemic, so trust me. This is like, where am I sharing the right screen?
Welcome to Flip. Flipped world.
Alrighty, so are you ready, William, to share some of your examples? Because it's very easy just to explain it, but like we need to see it. What does it look like?
Okay.
And you should have sharing
I'm gonna
screen,
share my
right?
screen.
And
Okay.
remember, all my friends here, we can't hear your voice, but we can see through your typing. So please join us, collaborate, interact. We're here. We're watching all the things to make this interactive.
Exactly, Stormy. As Manny said, I think one of my favorite tool it is using as a homework assignment because we can design the students to be creative and be the focus on this process of teaching. So I still use it, the students project for different subjects like in physics or math. And I'm gonna show the first one. This is the electric circuit. So what they had to do, we had an exercise with some electrons and resistors and batteries. So they have to draw the current of the electric charges in the circuit. So of course they can do it on the paper, but it's gonna be much more interactive if they use this technology. So they have to draw and explain and calculate how much it is to explain me how they are thinking. Okay, this is the first one. It was clear? Any doubts here?
Yeah, so like the first word, meta, I guess that's the goal, and where you put like what is the goal of the project? And then you have the
Yeah,
instructions, because all is in Portuguese. I mean, it's very similar to Spanish, so I can read it.
so you understand Manny
Yeah, so the first
major.
look at the goal of this project, and then the instructions go underneath.
Exactly. So you can check if they really understand what we said in class, right?
Objective, yeah, objective. That's a hard word, Michael, for me.
Oh, this idea of Matthews about virtual lab is also an interesting too, because many schools here, for example, we don't have a lab or some materials, and they can select a video to show them the experiment. And of course, it's much safer too. Even if you use fire, for example, do you remember, man, in my example, we are trying to use fire and try to use the sound to combat the fire.
Yeah.
And of course, in class it's super dangerous. So here, they're all safe and protect.
Yeah, and the coach certification, we have a teacher that is recording her labs, and she says it's so expensive to use all these chemicals over and over and over again. So I record myself once doing it, and then the students have to follow along, watching the video step by step, and then the video stops. So they have to mix it and do the next step. I'm like, it's genius. The Flip Lab.
Except this the second one about density. So they have to record themselves doing this experiment. So they have to mix two liquid or more than, of course, to demonstrate. They won't mix, of course, because the density. So expect, for example, oil, water, and honey, and they have to realize they won't mix, and then explain all the physics behind, all the chemistry behind. This is the second one. The third one, it is about math. and we are talking about geometry. So they have to explain me and prove this this theory about. So they have to calculate and demonstrate what they are doing. So of course we expecting what they're of course learning about in classes. So they have to solve the exam the exercises to prove these theorems in math.
So
Okay.
here I said the format of the video, like which is in the second column, like you have them use a YouTube video,
Oh,
you have them record their video.
they can choose. But I prefer them to record themselves.
Yeah,
Of
because there was
course.
a question in the chat. I'm like, what? Because we don't have a student recorder yet, but we will have a student recorder at some point. We're working on that. But they can use, their phone. Chromebooks have a recorder. They can record their screen.
Exactly.
What do your students use to record?
Chromebooks. Exactly.
Chromebooks?
Yeah, Chromebooks. So they
Yeah,
are
but like William said, it is better for like to choose the option for them to upload their own video, because let's be honest, we know that they're gonna choose to look for a video on YouTube. It's easier, it's more
Yeah.
exactly,
accessible.
Major.
So
Exactly.
no, we want learning. So let them
That's the point.
upload their
That's
own
the
video.
point.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. It will be much easier for them just to pick one and so this is the reason why
Yeah.
the geometry. So and the third one, the fourth one, they have to draw some algorithms about the computational thinking process. And they have to draw and explain each part of the algorithm.
And you know what this is great for? So Wilian, you ask your students to create this student projects, they record themselves, and you have like an actual tutorial for this topic and that you can share. Obviously, not sharing maybe the students' faces, but if they're explaining how to solve algorithms, you have a tutorial that you can share with future with future classes or future
Yeah.
schools, right?
Yeah, but when you do for the first time, they got it because it's so easy. They
Yeah.
got one, and then if one teacher start doing that, the other ones doesn't have to do anything. It's just ready. They know all the steps to send this homework.
Fabulous.
Awesome.
So
Awesome sauce.
I know we're following this lit right here. Like before Stormy shows you the demo, I'll show you an example that I have for teachers, because we might have teachers that teach teachers.
Mhm.
So we actively have this. I'm gonna share desktop, and this is in English. So this is Coach. Okay, so I have a playlist, and then the pencil is the actual student project. So I tell teachers, I need, if you're willing to record yourself and give me a student project, a video that I can put in Coach, I give them a student project here, and I give them instructions. So it will be like, this is kinder through second, and then the instructions are just here. And then I have all these examples that I have been at the bottom. I have one. All these people are still recording, but it's very simple to just come up with what is the goal that you want. We all know what we want the students to make. Sometimes it's a little trickier with the instructions, but once Stormy shows you the demo, I'm going to show you some ways that you can find outside in the internet for instructions. But this is what is actively in Coach. So if you want to experience it yourself as a student, you can just say Coach.
Just take the Coach.
Take Coach. Alrighty. Okay. So here's another example. Like I want teachers to create a teacher example for me and then upload it into Coach. All right, Stormy. Now, how in the world are we going to create a student project? Because they look amazing, but how do I do it?
If you experienced educators notice, we're doing the gradual release model. I do, we do, and you're about to do. So keep that in mind. All right. We want you to stay through all the steps, even if maybe you already know, because I already got 10 new ideas. I want to start creating more on my own. I already learned from listening. So as we want our students to do, we are going to demo now. All the questions in the chat, hopefully I'm about to answer. Let me go ahead and share, jump into my world of puzzles, share. Now you can see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because in this new Zoom, I can't see my screen. But anyways, so what I did, I'm gonna go all the way back, and I'm going to go up here to the add new button, all right? And anything we wanna add to Edpuzzle, we just add new. It's so simple, right? And then I'm going to zoom this just a bit, so you can see that I could do the general ways to upload a video, record a video, create a class, or connect an LMS. Right now, I'm gonna go to create a student project, and I'm just going to click it. And it's that easy. And then I'm gonna zoom out a bit so you can see this is the template that was used to create what he showed you in those assigned student projects. And then all I have to do, I could simply type something here, but I use my friend Charlie, Copilot in this case, and I already have a template that I created, and then I use this same template when I do Edpuzzle projects with my students, because then they are familiar, Control C, with the instructions, and I'm going to Control C in my Word document and Control V. And these are my Edpuzzle project instructions. And I will tell you, I teach 3rd grade, which is 8 and 9-year-olds. So that's why there's emojis. Don't judge upper high school.
They're for all of them. Just trust
They
me.
know how to do this, but before I'm going to assign this, I'm going to put in the objective I want them to teach, right? So I'm doing a Math Blasters project set. Control C. So this is Control C, Control V. I have to talk to myself when I tech. This is a choice that I give my students to show understanding of the concept. Maybe they're not good test takers. Maybe they're not going to do good on the test or do well on the test until they teach somebody. Like if I don't teach it, I don't know it, especially math, right? And so I can easily just put this in there and then assign it. This is the other area that is important. Allow students to either choose from YouTube or upload their own for the project. We can turn that off. And so now in this project, they have to upload their own video. In my instructions, I told them to create your video using Canva or any video tool to create your video. 5 to 10 minutes is recommended. And then they're going to download it to their device and upload it, all right? And so they have the instructions and they can come back to it. Will they get the video and create it in Edpuzzle? No, but they'll have the instructions and it'll create like a little placeholder for them. And then I simply, just like any Edpuzzle assignment, I save and assign. And it's gonna ask me which class I want to assign it. All my students, oops, only one class, all my students are going to get it as of tomorrow. And then I can set not only when to assign it, so I can assign it next Monday to automatically appear, and I don't have to remember to come back and do it. And then I can set a due date, just like any Edpuzzle assignment. And then here's what it will look like on their device. And I can edit this assigned project. And you notice when I assign it, it does look like this, all nice in a row. However, when it assigned it, it puts it all into a paragraph. So maybe that's okay for you, maybe not. Maybe you want to go refine it a little more. But that's how you create a student video, a student project assignment in Edpuzzle. That's how you are about to create a student project. Once you assign it, just like Manny showed you, you will see it in your in progress in your assignments. And then once the students turn it in, I have one student that quickly gave me an animal report, and I allowed him to use YouTube just so he could get it done. And it was a ridiculous AI generated video about the world's largest snake, and it wasn't even a real snake. So you let your students teach the content. And then when I want to share that, I, as the teacher, best practice, am going to look at the video. I'm going to look at the questions, and I'm going to check the answer choices they set up, right? Because I want to make sure it's correct, so they're teaching good stuff. But most importantly, I want to make sure it's appropriate, so our students aren't exposed to things that are maybe a little not so appropriate, all right? And so that is on us, the educator. That's not the tool, that is us. That's best practices in keeping our students safe online. So then when I click on the three dots, I can make the student retry. I can save it in my content, I can comment on it, or I can unassign it. When I save it to my content, that video, like Super Manny said, magically, that quick, is now over here. And when I go to my content, in my content, I'm gonna scroll down, and here's that video. Instead of assigning my students 17 videos on math, topic 3.6a, I'm going to add this to a playlist, create a Math Blasters playlist right here. And then assign that playlist to the class. That way, if my teaching doesn't get it, that's okay. The objective is not for them to listen to me. The objective is to learn the content, right? So it's okay if another student can explain it better than me. Step off the soapbox, right? And so in 3 seconds, add new, create student project, build your project and your requirements, objectives, what are instructions for your students, because that's what your students will see. Decide if you're going to allow a YouTube video or make them create their own. And then assign that. I'm not going to do it again. And then we're going to help you tonight with that. All right. The best practice or the best idea I have so far tonight is to have my students record in the science lab, because we only go to the science lab once a week. Record in the science lab them actually doing the hands-on piece. Take that video back with them, because in the class they have to write about their claim, evidence, and reasoning. Well, once that hands-on is over, they usually forget what they did. So thank you, my friend Wilian, for sharing that idea. That's what I'm doing this Friday. And let me stop sharing over here.
Wait. Can you click on
Yes.
your content, my content, Stormy?
I can,
Yeah, and then click on the student video.
I can.
And now notice that where it says private next to edit, it's grayed out, because you cannot share a video that was created by a student. This is why it does not work with any LMS. So we need to make sure that these videos that is student created are staying in Edpuzzle. You cannot share with another teacher. You cannot share with anybody else. We don't share this with any LMS. They have to come to the Edpuzzle class and create it, and then you assign it, because we have a question here. So
Awesome.
it's even complicated for us to share between teachers, because it was meant for in the
Yes.
classroom, you
Yes.
and your students. So
But-
you can use that from year to year, but that will always stay in the teacher's repertoire of videos.
Because of the students' intellectual property. Their intellectual property should be more protected even than their image. So we
Yes.
often think of stranger danger and image protection, but student intellectual property belongs to the student. And we cannot,
So there's a question that if that means I can't, I lost the question, but they were asking if they cannot like assign that student project
LMS.
to an LMS.
Right. Now, what you can do is create an Edpuzzle class in Edpuzzle, obviously. Share the link of the assignment into your LMS, Yes. Now, most districts don't like the fact that the kids are going to click on that LMS link and it's going to be a link out into Edpuzzle, but they're going to have to create it in Edpuzzle, not in the LMS. But you can, but it needs to be in Edpuzzle. Yeah, avoid linking out. I know my old district, this is like, no, it has to be in the LMS. So
Yeah.
I'm like, look,
Manny,
we're all
if I'm
rebels.
like, we have Schoology in our district, and there's an app within, I can't think of the acronym right now, but within Schoology, so Edpuzzle will work within Schoology. If you do the LPI, I don't know if I'm saying it right. LPI? Is it
LTI, LTI. Mhm.
LTI.
LTI.
Right, and so
Yeah.
perhaps it works, Edpuzzle tool will work within Edpuzzle. I mean, within Schoology or Canvas, there's an LTI integration that it should work.
The video lesson, everything works except
Oh, I see.
project.
Dr. Harvey
The
gave some
student
insight.
project does not work. It also does not work with open classes because open is not, there's no privacy. It's shared with everyone. Again, is for the privacy of the student, it's locked down to the degree that is, it's
Yeah.
it's very intense because we worry about the student, privacy.
Yeah. It's
Another-
a good thing, because otherwise they wouldn't let us use that puzzle. But that tells us if we're allowed to use it, it's a great thing that people are watching out for us and our students. So thank you, Edpuzzle, for creating a product that we can use to amplify student voice, and at the same time, know that you got our back to help us to protect them. So we appreciate that as educators.
And then Matthew, it's going to stay in your folder of my content. So even if you assign it to multiple classes and you archive it, you still belong. The video still belongs to you in a way that it's a student video, but it's like you own it in a way. And from year to year, you can keep sharing that video with all the things. But okay, I'm going to show you one last thing before you get crack-a-lacking with your student project. Because I thought the hardest thing to come up with is instructions. So I went to ChatGPT and I'm like, give me instructions for a video project in which the goal of the students is to identify fragments on a YouTube video. And he gave me really intense, instructions. And then I said, I need you to make it shorter. Here, make it shorter for a third grade classroom. And now it was a lot shorter and very precise of what the students need to be doing. Because again, as a teacher, we know what our students wants to do. It's just hard to put it sometimes in words for the students to do the project. Stormy show that it looks like a list when the students are watching it, right? But then when you're like sharing, like when you have the teacher view, it looks like a paragraph. So why? I'm not sure. The powers that be do that. But you can use ChatGPT or any AI, Gemini, whatever it is that you use to
Copilot.
come up with ideas. Or Copilot, whatever, yeah. Microsoft, Google, whatever. All right. We have some ideas here for student projects. The spiral review, this is new. I didn't know this thing existed. So it's just like repetition of the same concept. And we're going to share this with you in the chat so you can take a look, because it's very simple to make it. It doesn't take you a whole lot, but we want you to see different examples so you can feel inspired into what to create, right? So we're going to share these templates with you, and then you apply them to your classroom. There's 3 of them. This is the spiral review, the one that tells you go watch a YouTube video and identify fragments within that video, which this does not always apply to middle school. I can see my 3rd graders finding fragments because we always say write incomplete sentences, OMG. So this could be a great, student project for students to identify in a video. I've seen teachers that in the instructions section, they share a Google folder or a OneDrive folder with videos there already that they can upload, or a list of YouTube videos that the kids can see, so they don't have to find a video from the entire YouTube. All right, I'm gonna share this with you in the chat, and then this is your time to be creating. So Edpuzzle, lowercase p, my eyes hurting. Lowercase p, lowercase p. All right, there you go. There's a chat, the link in the chat for this, and all this is gonna be in the digital swag that we're gonna give you. We're gonna give you all of the things that you've seen, the resource that I show, 7 ways to use student project, this, the link to get in touch with Stormy and Wilian, and a video, and all the things about student project. Alrighty, all the love, all the love, all the love. I see it on the chat. So open up a new tab. Think about what you're going to be making with all the things that we have given you and thrown at you. And we are going to be reading the chat and answer your questions, but we're going to be a little quiet so you can get to work. I was going to say crack-a-lackin'.
And at the end, we would like you to not share your student work, but we would like you to share your work, because we are better together and your idea might spark somebody else's or mine. And so we're gonna have a doc at the end. Well, they already shared it in the chat. We'll share it again for you to share your idea. So maybe a screenshot of your template as you're putting your idea in. So happy creating. Where does crack-a-lacking come from, Manny? That's what Michael wants to know.
It was on animals in New York, and it was, they were in the zoo and they go to Africa, and it's like the second one is this disco. I don't remember. I need to find it. It's a movie. It's a cartoon.
April says Madagascar.
Madagascar. There you go. Thank you, April. Yeah, Madagascar. Yeah, I also said bajiggity a lot. So. Okay. Oh, I did not know. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, we're thinking you are thinking about your student project, and if you have questions, let us know in the chat.
So excited to see what everyone creates. In fact, I'm going to create right now a lab blasters, so I can capture the evidence that we actually do hands-on investigations.
After the video is complete.
Sometimes the hardest part of teaching is evidence that you actually did something, right?
Yeah. So, Heather, after the project is completed, you said that the video can be copied and added questions. Why? Who does that part?
So Heather, I understand your question. Heather, once the students upload the video, it looks just like when you create an Edpuzzle video. When you upload a video, as soon as the video uploads, you have the ability to add questions. The template on the student part looks exactly like it does for teacher creation of an Edpuzzle assignment. So they upload their video and then they're able to add questions throughout the video before they submit it.
And I love that idea, Virginia. Is like, it doesn't necessarily have to everything be content directed. Like we do have like some community building, like introducing to each other. That's great. I'm like, because
how to say my name, right?
I remember when I first started introducing Flipgrid to my students, I purposely did something like this, introduce yourself, because I want them to play with the edtech, because they're going to play with technology one way or the other. So I want them to get the wiggles out, like, yes, play with it.
Yeah, don't make their final EOC assignment the first time they used it, because it's not going to be successful. Let them play. Another word from elementary, let them play. Everybody should be playing. Will students be able to access YouTube videos?
Okay, Maggie.
Yes, Trisha, yes, they will. So on that tab, you just, as you're setting up your assignment, you just say allow YouTube or not allow YouTube. By default, it's selected. They're both selected. So you either uncheck it or just keep it.
Right, Maggie, you created a student project because that sounds like a video lesson. When you click on my content, your student projects are going to be at the very bottom. They don't have the pencil. They look like what William showed you. It's just like a little box and the name. Once you assign them, then you see the pencil. I don't know why. But that's how they, and then you can, when you click, you can assign them to the classes.
Right.
Can I use the video for the whole class, or how does that?
Oh, it's also in the tab, all right?
Virginia says that she used to use Flipgrid and that she's hoping that this can fill in the gap.
We'll
It's
never fill the gap. But it is a great way to record student voice in a secure way, and you choose how that voice is shared within the class.
Okay, I want to answer Heather's question. Let me go find a video that I have in a student project.
I love this. Stephanie says that she teaches food, nutrition, and cooking, and this would be a great tool for students to demonstrate their skills. I love it. Yes.
Awesome.
And maybe you
I
can
love it.
ask them to do different recipes and then share it with them, like with each other, and like each other see, or I don't know, pick another recipe and do
Yes.
it, that tutorial, that other.
They could have a cooking channel.
Love it. Yes.
Because that's something else I used to do with the formerly known as Flipgrid Amazingness, is the students thought they were content creators, so they would apply to get their own YouTube channel, they called it 10 years ago. Now it's TikTok probably. And so I would approve them and I would just create them a playlist. And then they would upload it cooking videos or reading videos or math videos or dance videos or tell jokes. So you could technically make a student project. Great idea. Look, another idea we have. Create a student project where you're pretend they're content creators.
Okay, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
we need to go over this again because I'm looking at the chat and there's lots of questions.
Do you want me to share my, okay, you can do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not
Okay,
gonna
you
do
got it.
anything because this is a live certification, but pretend this is your Edpuzzle classroom, right? With your classes here and the video lessons. So you click add new and then create a student project. And then you put the, the subject, the goal, and the instructions. We show you all those things. Then you have to pick at least one of these, both or one. Once you save it, it's going to be in my content at the bottom. Okay. Then once you have your student project, what is the name of it? Student project, you will assign it. You will assign it to your class, to the whole class in Edpuzzle, right? Remember, no LMS cannot be done to the LMS. Once you go into your class, I'm going to go to Coach 24, 25. This is assigned already because it has a pencil. When I click here, I can share this assignment into my LMS. Like, it's going to give me a link and I can put that into the LMS. It's going to take, when the students click on it, it's going to link them back into Edpuzzle and they have to make it in Edpuzzle. I think I have a video here, right? So all these teachers have not completed their student project, but one. Once you have the video from the student will click on the student project and it's going to create a lesson the same way you already know how to create a video lesson with stopping, put in the notes and the multiple choice questions, open-ended, all of the things exactly like a teacher, the students are going to be able to do. Once they submit the lesson, you click on the 3 dots and then you can save to my content. And now that belongs, but that video goes into the teacher's my content. And you can share it from year to year. So hopefully that cleared a whole bunch of questions that I keep seeing in the chat. So essentially, you're having your students create content for you to turn around and assign it to your students. So it could be individual, it could be a group project that they can record, you know, together or in parts. But this is our creation part. It's amazing, a hidden gem for sure.
Yes. I added more slides so that you can choose one to put the screenshot of your student project instructions.
Oh, did we already shared the slides?
Yes,
Okay, because I don't remember doing that.